Thank you so much, Susan, for that beautiful music. Oh, and thank you to Reverend Patrick for giving me this opportunity to come back to Connecticut. I decided an appropriate background for me today was my front yard, and when I was living in Connecticut, one beautiful spring morning. I want to thank Susan for the lovely music, for bringing us the song Imagine, to Carolyn for the wonderful meditation, bringing us back into that center of ourselves, for Mary Jo for the reading, and Nil for opening and setting the tone for our time together this morning. Again, I am just so grateful to be here. It's just really exciting. And the topic this month on visioning is something that is so near and dear to my heart. This is one of the many tools that we have in our spiritual tool belt, and it's one that I embrace to the depths of my soul. And I want to just paraphrase the reading that Mary Jo did for us this morning. And when we understand the law always works. Whether we're using it or not, it always works. And when we understand that, we learn to embody. We learn to embody that which we desire, that which we wish to have as our experience of life. And we begin to focus on it, and we think about it, and we start changing things that happen. Now, the song Imagine brings me to this wanting to share with you. I wish I could share the whole thing with you, but Centers for Spiritual Living is a global organization. We have 400 centers all over the world. We have ministers who are coming out of the ministerial school, and they're starting centers and teaching chapters and focus ministries all over the world. Europe, Asia, here in North America and South America. And we as an organization have a global vision. And this month, as we focus on the tool of visioning and setting vision and holding that vision and releasing and letting go and embracing and embodying and becoming that vision, this is the piece of the vision that we are, of the CSL overall global vision, that we are focusing on. So the question is, you probably have heard, if you've been here before, we work for a world that works for everyone. Well, what does that mean? Well, here's a piece of it. We see a world in which every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. Now, to reach that on the individual basis and to work towards it becoming a collective, we have some tools in our spiritual toolbox. Some of the most powerful tools we have are treatment and meditation, visualization, and visioning. And I am so excited to hear that Moni is going to be teaching the class treatment and meditation. And she's going to put her information in the chat, so that if you're interested in this class, you can sign up, you can contact her and she can get you the information. But it's a 10-week journey together with a group of like-minded people, learning in more depth what it is we call treatment. It's spiritual mind treatment is what we call it. It's our form of affirmative prayer, where we declare what we know the truth is to be of any and every situation. And Bob has offered you an opportunity to experience that, if you haven't, with the miracle moment after we're done here today. So if you're interested in that, please sign up for it. I also, in talking to Reverend Patrick, he's interested in teaching the visioning class, which is an 8-week journey of experiencing this powerful tool. It's a meditative tool called visioning that we have, that over that 8 weeks, you vision on Spirit's highest expression of different parts of your life. What does Spirit want to express as me in all these different areas of my life? Also a very exciting class to take. And I highly recommend you signing up for one or both of, I don't know. Talk to Mary Jo and Gary. They can get you hooked up. But let me tell you, you will come out of there a different person if you take either of those classes. So there's a difference, as Reverend Patrick over the last couple of weeks has talked about the tool of visioning, and that one of the first things that of the questions that we ask during the visioning meditation is, first we ask, what is the highest expression of Spirit as me? Or is my life, or my life purpose, or whatever it is I'm visioning as. But basically, I'm asking, what is Spirit desiring to express as me? Because you know what? I'm an expression of Spirit. And I know if I'm an expression of Spirit, every person who is here on the Zoom call, who is watching this on Facebook, who watches this now or whenever as a recording, everyone is an expression of Spirit. So in that meditation, we also ask, well, what do I need to release and let go of to allow this highest expression of Spirit to express as me? And Reverend Patrick talked about that last week. And if you want to go back, it's a great video. I watched it a couple days ago. And if you haven't heard it, go to, I think it's on Facebook. I know it's on Facebook. So go to the Facebook page and listen to it. Today, we're going to talk about the other questions that we ask. What do I need to embrace? What do I need to embody? What do I need to become to allow this vision to fully express itself as me? And what I'm going to do is, as I go through this, I'm going to talk to you about a person who used to be part of the CSL organization many years ago. And I did a workshop on visioning what is my life purpose. It was called What's My Life Purpose and How Do I Get There? And this young woman named Ellen came to this workshop. And we were visioning our life purpose. Now, Ellen had just graduated with her MSW, and she had this really deep, vibrant, enthusiastic desire to work with children, to empower them to be their true self. So they don't have to unravel all the stuff we get to unravel, not have to, we choose to unravel. She also loved art. She was an artist and she absolutely loved art. She was just as enthusiastic about art. And when she came to this workshop, she was trying to figure out what to do with her MSW. And where was she going to do that in the state of Connecticut? Now, her family has, generations of living in Connecticut. And in her mindset, she was going to be in Connecticut for the rest of her life and was very happy about that, by the way. It wasn't like, oh, I have to be. It was, I choose to be. I really want to be in Connecticut all my life. So she came to this workshop and we did the visioning meditation. And so one of the things she found out was she needed to release and let go of was all preconceived ideas. Because what she got when she asked the question, what is Spirit's highest expression of me as my life purpose? She kept getting everything, art and counseling. And now this was about 10 years ago. So this was before art therapy was a really big thing here, at least on the East Coast. So Ellen never saw that she could combine the two things she loves the most until she started the visioning. And she started seeing that they were merged together. So when asked about what do I need to release to be in alignment with this vision, she had to release preconceived ideas. Didn't know what that meant. And then we asked about embrace, embody, and become. So I'm going to continue this story as we talk about embrace, embody, and become. Because what happened was she took this class around July 4th, and by September 30th, she had moved to Taos, New Mexico to become an art therapist for children. And if you're an artist, or if you know anything about the art art community. Taos is like the mecca for artists here in the United States. That's a place if you don't want to necessarily live there, you at least want to go there and just be in that artistic consciousness. So she let go of a lot because she was convinced that like everybody else in her family, she would be in Connecticut for the rest of her life. She comes back to visit, but the last time I talked to her, which has been several years ago, she's thoroughly enjoying this opportunity. And what happened was, not only did she have to release and let go, but she had to embrace and embody that whole idea of becoming something different. So what do we mean by embrace? Well, I know we're in this COVID timeframe, and I wish I could hug and embrace every one of you, but think about the last time you went to embrace that person you love the most. That person that just brings joy to your heart. What's the first thing you do? First thing you do is what? Open your arms. You open your arms, and then you just wrap your arms around them and you bring them into your heart space, and you just feel that energy going back and forth between you. So there's this receptivity, there's an enthusiasm that you have for what it is you are desiring. Now, I have to say, I am one of the most blessed people in the world because I get that hug every day, at least 100 times from my grandson. And and when I was thinking about embracing, it's like, oh my gosh, he will just run up to me running like this. And he calls me gra gra. He comes up, gra gra, gra gra, boom, and he slams into me and he gives me a big hug. And it makes my day every day. But when we're talking about embracing an idea, we're not just physically opening our arms. What we're doing is we are opening our consciousness. We are opening our consciousness to a new idea. We are allowing in new ideas. We are asking ourselves, what am I receptive to that will bring me in a greater alignment with this vision of this higher expression of God, of spirit, of the one life, as me, as Jackie? And if it helps to really embrace this idea, use your name, because it shifts that whole thing, because it's like, whoa, you mean me? You mean Jackie? So that's what Ellen had to do. Ellen needed to open her mind to these new ideas. She was not knowing about art therapy at the time. It wasn't anything she learned in school. It wasn't a big thing in therapy here on the East Coast at that time. She opened herself up to an idea. And one day when she was on the internet searching something, an ad came up. Or I don't know if it was an ad or whatever, but it's something that either comes on the right or the left-hand side, and she decided to follow it because it was about art therapy. And she started going down that path, and her intuition led her. She opened her mind. It allowed her to, by being open, by being receptive, by being ready to embrace, by having that enthusiasm that spirit had already revealed itself, as somehow she was going to combine art, her brand new master's degree in social work, and her desire to empower children to be their true selves. And she followed that path. And she found opportunities to combine those. So, what opportunities for growth am I willing to welcome? What possibilities am I open to? And Ellen went down there. She opened herself up to those ideas. She called a couple of the places. She contacted them. She allowed herself to she had released this idea of preconceived ideas. And what she realized was one of them was, at the time, she was going to have to release her lifelong vision, if you will, that I'm part of this family that has been in Connecticut for generations. And she let go of that. And once she let go of that, boom, her intuition led her to where she needed to become. So that's embrace. What do I need to embrace? What qualities of God? What opportunities do I need to allow into my ideas, my ability to go beyond what I already know? So now the question is, what do I need to embody? An embodiment of an idea is a demonstration of your consciousness. It's Ernest Holmes, in that same section of Science and Mind, and this is on page 143, he says, we should take the highest thought we have and attempt to enlarge on this consciousness until it embraces a more vital concept of reality. And he capitalizes reality. So it's not what I'm seeing, but what I know is truth. Consciousness in this sense means an inner embodiment of ideas. It's going beyond what we know mentally and intellectually. It's allowing what it is we know here to make that very long, sometimes difficult, but I know it's an easy slide because gravity works just as well as the law, and just let it come down into our heart. And when we embody it into that heart space within us, we assimilate it into our consciousness, and it becomes instinctual. It becomes causal. It becomes that form taking place in me, as me, through me. In Ellen's case, it allowed her to respond to something she might have never seen and go down what we would call a rabbit hole. But in this case, it was a tunnel to enlightenment. It was a tunnel to a life that she desired. And that's the power of visioning, is it takes us beyond what we already know. Our imagination can only go so far. So when I teach visioning, visualization, changing your life, shifting your experience of life, my recommendation is do visioning first. And then visualization becomes an even more powerful tool, because I have something that is higher, that is beyond what I knew at the time before I did the visioning. So the next question is, what do I need to become? So when we embrace and embody these ideas, we are cultivating our consciousness. We are expanding our consciousness. We are opening ourselves up to more intuitive input. When we become, that is the act of allowing. And so in Ellen's case, this was not only following the path, but picking up the phone and making those phone calls or emails, however it was she contacted these places. It was allowing herself. It was actually talking to these people. It was allowing this whole new experience to be presented to her, and it put her in a place of choice. So now she could choose to move or see if she could find something here in Connecticut. But everything she got was leading her to Taos, New Mexico area, Santa Fe, that area that is just embodies art and and that form of creativity. It's allowing that which you already are to come forward. It's allowing a freer and fuller expression of your truth, of my truth. I don't know how many of you know. I know Moni does because I've talked to her about it recently. But I just took my last class in ministerial school. It's yay. Now I just have 5 more exams and 12 practicums to write up, and then I'll be done. So that's why they're saying I'm an almost minister. I kind of like to think of it as a minister in training, but almost minister works too. In this class, there's a story in the Bible, and when I looked at it with a new set of eyes, it had a whole different meaning to me. And that it's Matthew 14, 22 through 33. And it's about the 12 disciples are in a boat out on this, I think it's the Sea of Galilee. It doesn't really matter. They're out on some body of water that's big enough that when the wind whips up, it can be pretty scary to be out on this water. And there's this, some wind is blowing and the boat's rocking and everything. And they see a human form walking towards them, and they aren't sure who it is. And finally, Jesus calls out to them and says, "Hey guys, it's me." And he says, "Come," and he's walking on the water, and they're like all, excuse me. And so he gives them, he challenges them with the opportunity of having enough faith that they too can walk on water. Because one of the things that Jesus says over and over and over again is, "That which I do, you will do and more." So he knew the truth of everyone. He saw through everything. He saw the spirit within everyone. He saw that which was the truth. The only disciple who had enough faith was Peter. Peter steps out and climbs out of the boat, and he finds out he's walking on water. And then the wind starts to come and things get a little rough. And all of a sudden, he's sinking down to his knees in the water. And he's like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what happened here?" Of course, I'm paraphrasing all this. And he gets down to his knees, and finally he's like, "What are you going to do?" And he's starting to sink. And it's not until he lets go of his fear and he reaches his hand out and accepts the faith that he already had, where he comes back and is on the water. And it's that faith. It's he took the challenge. He came into fear. He went back to embracing and embodying and becoming. And he was brought up out of the water, not by Jesus, but because of his faith in his own self of who he truly is. And again, that's Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 through 33. If you want to read the story the way it's written, I think mine's a little more exciting. When we become this vision, we are asking ourselves, what divine qualities within me am I being called to remember as my truth? It's not like I have to do something different. Well, I do, but I already have that quality. I already have it. It's already within inside of me. I just need to remember that. I need to be like Peter. And when that storm comes and I start sinking down into the water, I need to remember my truth. I need to remember I am light, I am love, I am joy, I am abundance, I am, and put whatever God quality is there. That's the power of that meditation that Carolyn did earlier. It's Whatever I say after I am declaring as the truth of myself. There's many of you may know of Michael Beckwith, who is the person who honed this skill of visioning, this tool of visioning that we have. And he has, there's a practitioner that comes from Agape. Her name is Ray Jordan. And she is like the person to go to if you want to get deep into the visioning process. She runs retreats all through the year where you can attend once or as many times as you want over the 3 or 4 days, and she will help you to not only just do the visioning, but harvest it. So she's kind of seen as the go-to person to really get visioning an active part of your life. And what she says in her visioning guide is, and so hold on to your seats because some of you may find this different way of thinking about this. In visioning, we're not trying to make anything happen. We're asking what we must embrace in consciousness in order to become the vision waiting to happen through us. So go back to Ellen. It wasn't until she let go of preconceived ideas, she embraced this idea of this higher vision that somehow was going to combine all the things that she just loved. She had that enthusiasm. She embraced it. She embodied it. And then she became it. It was always there. She just finally paid attention to something that came up on her internet. We do not manifest the vision. It already is. When we release and let go of obstacles, when we embrace new ideas, when we embody the new beliefs about ourselves, about the situation, and we become that which we already are, we transform ourselves. We become attuned with the vision. We become in alignment with it, and it can do nothing but come into our experience because it pulls us there. The vision already is. And the transformation that we make by releasing, embracing, embodying, and becoming brings it into realization. If you're familiar with spiritual mind treatment, that's that step that declares what is. It brings it into realization and it becomes our experience. We are pulled to it. So the question that I ask you today, each and every one of you, is what will you welcome with open arms today? What new idea, what new belief, what are you going to open arms and let it run into you and just whoosh, embrace and embody it and then become it? So now I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment for each and every one of us. And so I ask you to just go into that heart space, take a nice deep cleansing breath, go into your heart space. You can close your eyes or keep them open, whichever is best for you to concentrate. Bring into your consciousness that which you desire, that which makes your heart sing. And bring it in and allow your mind to embrace that. Allow your heart to embrace that. Feel the feeling of it. What does it feel like when you have become that? And as all of those who have spoken before me today have so aptly brought into this space that we have, that there is only one. There is a power and a presence, which is that which creates all things of the universe. It creates from itself, as itself, always expanding itself, never depleting. It creates from love, peace, joy, harmony, balance, abundance, light, and love. I will say it again, because that is the truth of what it is. It can be nothing else. For everything in the universe is an expression of it, and it cannot be against itself. So it is love, it is peace, it is joy, it is harmony. And knowing that I am an expression of that, knowing that I have been created from that desire to express the one life it is, I am all that. I am the pixel within the hologram that I call God. And knowing that this is true of me, I know that it is true of every person who hears my voice. I know this to the depth of my being, that each and every person who hears this is a pixel within the hologram called the one life. And what I know is true is that a pixel has everything it needs to create, to recreate, to make again that which it is a part of. We are unity expressing in multiplicity, individualized, unique expressions of the one. And so in knowing that, I claim right now in this moment the truth of each and every person. I claim that truth for myself and for everyone who hears this, the truth that I am the vision that I desire. I am the life. I am the light, the love, the peace, the joy, and the harmony. I accept right now in this moment an openness, an allowing of new ideas, of new beliefs, of truth to be remembered. And in that remembering, all good, all God becomes my experience. Knowing this truth brings me into deep, deep gratitude and thanksgiving. To know the power of the word, to know that once I speak this word, it is done. And so in that joy, in that gratitude, in that thanksgiving, I let this go into that immutable law, the one that can only respond yes. Allow it to be. Bless it. And speak the truth, allowing it to flow effortlessly, evenly, with ease and grace. And anchor this in that truth by saying, and so it is. Well, thank you all again for your time and energy. So there